seventh day of Passover is not a day that most Reform Jews take note of. And so I'm so glad that all of you are here today. By the end of the Passover holiday of eating matzah, I understand that people are craving a bagel and cream cheese or pizza, and we might want to be done with this holiday. But it is a bit unfortunate that more people don't recognize the final day of Passover. As we could be here this morning, we heard that beautiful chant from our Torah portion, the beautiful Hallel. And today, as we've said, is the ultimate moment in our shared history. We read from the Song of Sea. It's the rebirth of our people. It tells our story as we move from slavery to freedom through the water of change. Today is perhaps even more significant than the first night of Passover, the night of watching, named from our Torah reading at the beginning of our holiday. It was a night of watching by Adonai to bring them out of the land of Egypt. This same night is a night of watching kept Adonai by all the people of Israel throughout their generations. Today, this day, is a day of redemption. According to Jewish tradition, the splitting of the sea is one of the greatest miracles ever performed. Yet not everyone witnessed this miracle. Rabbi Lawrence Kushner shares a midrash that mentions two Israelites, Reuven and Shimon, who had a different experience. Apparently, the bottom of the sea, though safe to walk on, was not completely dry, but a little muddy, like a beach at low tide. Reuven stepped into it and curled his lips. "What is this muck?" Shimon scowled. "There's mud all over the place." "This is just like the slime pits of Egypt," replied Reuven. "What's the difference?" complained Shimon. "Mud here, mud there, it's all the same." And so it went for the two of them. Their heads were down. They grumbled all the way. Across the bottom of the sea, they were stuck in the mud. And because they never once looked up, they never understood why the distant shore, everyone else was singing and dancing. For Reuven and Shimon, the miracle never happened. So this morning, we celebrate a miracle. We celebrate redemption. And as we mark this momentum moment, I find it interesting that Jewish tradition saw it fit to add a memorial service, a Yizkor prayers on this day. Why add these prayers of mourning when we are celebrating our freedom, the greatest miracle of our tradition? Perhaps it's a sense, it is the regular reminder of joy mixed with sorrow, be it the glass we stomp on at Jewish wedding days. While there are many interpretations about that glass, maybe it represents the destruction of the temple in Jerusalem, or others say it demonstrates that marriage holds sorrow as well as joy. We mix the two. Or the sweet charoset we eat at our Seder tables to represent the mortar when our Israelite slaves worked so hard. Judaism recognizes that most joyous times are tinged with sorrow because not everyone we wish to be there to celebrate those joys, those momentous moments in our lives can be. In the main, the timetables of our lives are not in our hands, and celebrating comes and goes with the table incomplete, but with the memories of those who sat at the table. The Seder table very much is in our minds. So how fitting to pause at the end of our festival and remember those who came before us, to think of where they sat, what they wore, what they cooked, how they led Hadgaya at the end of our Seder, or how they sang the 4 questions. In a moment, we'll turn to our prayers of memory to remember our loved ones, our parents, our siblings, our spouse, our children, our close friends. But I believe there's another reason why this day we add our morning prayers. Our Yizkor service reminds us not to mourn too much. There are certain days and there are certain times that we must remember, but we can't be a slave to our past, our pain. There comes a time when we too cross through the sea. Our heads are down. We are in the mud. We are grief-stricken. Yet, we have to look up and look at the miracles around us, the life that we need to live, the future. Of course, we never are to forget those who led the way or those we walked with, but we are committed to push ahead and live our lives as those we love in their higher moments would want us to. We remember them. We taste this bitterness, the sadness, but we move on with memory, with direction, and with hope that we can make our lives as blessed as our loved ones wished for us.